Winning film director, probably best known for his Bond films and 1917. But before that, he was winning awards for his theatre productions in London's West End. As theatres great and small face bankruptcy following the shutdown, he's not only worried, but he has an idea. I spoke to him this morning and asked him how serious the situation for the live performing arts and the people who work in them really is.
Well, sadly, I'm afraid it's very serious indeed. You know, I think we've already seen dreadful warnings across the country, local theatres closing in Southampton, in Southport, in Leicester. We've seen whole communities now beginning to be deprived of the possibility of live performance for the future. You know, and I think it's very important that one stresses this is not a theatre just closing down until it can reopen again. These are theatres going into receivership that are going to reopen as nightclubs or just be torn down or as bingo halls. And I think that's the degree of seriousness, and that's the situation we find ourselves in at the moment.
So for people who don't go to the theatre regularly at the moment and are wondering, why should I care, but are kind of patriotic and enthused about Britain, as it were, why should they care?
In 2018, the cultural sector brought in £32.4 billion to the UK. You know, so it is a going concern. It's a huge, massive economic growth engine. And so we've come up with this plan, which we feel represents the theatre as a whole and enables the government to be a participation in success, so that they find a way to get some of the money back, so that the taxpayer doesn't feel they're simply throwing money down into a black hole.
So how does
but at the same time, the whole theatre community can benefit.
I was just going to ask you how this actually works, because on the one hand, you've got highly profitable theatres, and on the other hand, less profitable theatres, some of them facing imminent bankruptcy now. Do they all come together in one new organisation the government then funds and gets money back from in due course?
You know, you can be summed up in three simple tranches, in a sense. The first is we have to continue the job retention schemes. Live performance, to state the obvious, can only happen once a night. And when the capacity is limited to 20%, it becomes absolutely impossible. So what we have to do is keep the theatres open, keep the self-employed with some way of remaining alive over the next 6 to 9 months, however long it is. And that means it's important for the job retention scheme to keep going. Then there has been an enormously successful tax relief scheme for the theatre, and we're asking for that is extended from 20% to 50% for a year or more, so that, again, it has a chance to earn back the money once it opens. And most important, I suppose, is this scheme that has been come up with called the Cultural, I think it's called the Cultural Investment Participation Scheme. It's a bit of a mouthful. But the reality is that is offering the government a chance to be an angel in a production, to be an investor in productions, so that in success, they make the money back that they have given to support the community in the short term.
Now, you are a connected man, if I can put it that way, and you've said this is the biggest threat to the UK's cultural life since the Second World War. So what kind of response are you getting from ministers?
Well, it's been positive so far. I mean, the article that I wrote in the Financial Times only came out 2 days ago, and I have to say there has been a swift response, positive. There is a feeling that people want to find a way through this. The theatre community obviously is full of very articulate and brilliant individuals who are all working on it as hard as they possibly can. And I do feel there is a way through here. I feel very positive about it. I think one has to stay positive. I think it's very easy to write and say, you know, the death to announce the death knell of the theatre. And really, I think one needs to find practical solutions. And I believe there is a way here. And I feel that there has been a sense that that has been listened to, and that over the next couple of weeks, I hope these things might begin to have some purchase.
My thanks to Sam Mendes there. Now, my final guest this morning